Welcome to the Riding Shotgun with Flying V podcast. This is our first outdoor podcast.
It is. But we are on a general theme of not riding shotgun.
The majority are in the truck.
Yeah. We need to do another one in the truck. We got to get one of our guests like Nick here in the truck with us.
Go for a little road trip.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
I like that idea. We can maybe he could sit on the center console.
You bet. Right in the middle.
You know, he's a little guy. He'll fit no problem.
Yeah, no doubt.
One leg on each side, and we're just all riding, the three of us, like a bunch of goons.
What we need is the yellow jacket with the bench seat.
Yep. So we are in Stevensville, Montana with Nick,
Yes, sir.
Canton Retrievers, hanging out. We've been working dogs all day today. And been a hell of a day. Our drive over here from Bozeman was mega icy, mega snowy, and then we pulled into this prime location. The sun was shining.
I know.
There's no snow on the ground. It's like, for us from Bozeman, this is a glimpse of like what April could be.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, this is pretty cool.
We did have 2 weeks of really good weather. We had a big push of birds come from the south back up north.
Mm-hmm.
We got a bunch of new birds on the Kaiser. Saw a pile of pintails the other day when Deke and I were out there tromping around in the woods looking for sheds. And, you know, spring is near,
Yep.
but it's not here.
Yeah, it's starting here.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
believe that. It seems like it. Feels like it.
Yep.
You seem to have a little better weather here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm going to start this podcast with some rapid-fire questions.
Shoot.
Okay? These are for you, Nick.
All right.
And then we'll get into your background and we'll roll from there. And you don't have to give long answers, but
Okay.
you can elaborate if
All right.
your heart so desires. What do you prefer to hunt, ducks or geese?
Geese.
Good answer. Do you prefer to hunt waterfowl or upland?
Waterfowl.
Okay. Labs or Chessies?
Chessies. Each has their place.
This dude is
But
like,
if I'm hunting waterfowl, geese, I'm going to pick a Chessie for sure.
okay, perfect. What is one breed of dog that you've never owned that you would love to own?
Probably a Boykin.
You know, I moved to Montana from South Carolina. That's a state dog of South Carolina.
Absolutely it is.
Everybody's got a Boykin
Yep.
there. Have you been around them?
A couple.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're pretty sporty.
Yep. I've heard they're a lot like a Chessie mindset-wise.
Really?
Yep.
I don't know anything about them.
Yeah.
I do know there's one that passed the grand.
Yeah, there is.
One.
Yep.
You could be number 2.
Yep.
What would you name it?
Edgar.
So it'd be a female.
Yeah, you would, yeah. Yeah.
Well, you have a female named Fred.
P-H-R-E-D, Fred.
Yeah. Yeah, he's Nick's got a half sibling to Smoke. She's only a few months younger than Smoke.
Yep.
And her name is Fred.
Yep. P-H-R-E-D, Fred.
I like that.
Yep.
It's kind of cool.
It is.
She looks very similar to Smoke, too. Very similar.
Very similar.
Similar color.
You know what Smoke's name almost was?
What's that?
Dog.
Dog. I like it.
You watch John Wayne movies?
Yeah.
You know that movie Big Jake?
Yep.
Got a dog named Dog?
Yep. Got a dog named Dog. I always wanted one, a dog named Ask Him. What's your dog's name? Ask Him.
That'd be a good one,
That
too.
would be a good name.
That'd be a really good one.
I'm getting an English Cocker.
I heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you going to name it?
Hondo.
Hondo. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John Wayne.
Yep.
You
Male,
know.
female.
Male.
I like it.
Yeah, I'm getting it from Wrangling.
Okay.
Might have to bring him your way.
Absolutely. We can make it happen.
Get some duck dog out of him.
Yep.
He's going to be an upland dog, though, for
Yeah.
the most part.
Yeah.
Primarily, yeah.
We need an upland dog around our crew,
Yep.
out looking at properties, walking
Sure.
properties, and then, you know, when we actually go hunting,
Yep.
we need a dedicated upland dog.
Yep. I agree.
And I think it'll be super fun in the small water to be able to have that
Yep.
little piss rocket, like, you know, finding the birds and bringing them back. It'll be fun. It'll be.
Yep.
It might feel a little bit like a novelty on the duck side, but
It'll be fun.
I'm really looking
Yeah.
forward to it.
Absolutely.
I think it's going to be awesome. We've got a really good buddy that has one, and we did a late season small water duck hunt with it. And I'm talking like ice water, like shelf ice and ice water.
Yeah.
And that little sumbitch retrieved 20 greenheads like a
Really?
champ,
Yeah.
swimming in the water. He did have to go back to the truck when we were about 3 or 4 away from being done.
Yeah.
But, dude, he was an absolute machine.
Well, the
after
temp
it.
was dropping as the day progressed.
Yeah, it was cold.
When we got there, it was like 11, and it was good. And then as the day progressed, it started to snow, and that temperature started to drop, and we were killing them. And, god dang, that dog would break through the ice. And, I mean, he had to work really
Sure.
hard, right? And then once he gets out, he's still really wet, and he had a little,
Right.
blind that he was getting into. But it was so fun to hunt with that dog, and I got to see the relationship between our buddy Lee and Bosco is his name. And, man, it just, like, pushed me over the edge. We had talked about it in the past, and I'm just like.
It was on the drive home from that hunt. We
Yeah.
had a 2-hour drive home. Matt's like, I'm doing it. And I was like, ew, yeah. Because I've always said I really want one of those suckers, but, like, the truth is with the big dogs and, another puppy coming, it's like really isn't in the cards for me. So when Matt wanted to get one, I was like, this is perfect.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, it's perfect, and it works good for us because we don't need another waterfowl dog.
Yeah.
We got Smoke here with you.
Yep.
And we got another one coming. We got Lead. We got all the waterfowl dogs we need.
You need an upland dog.
Let's fill a gap
Yeah.
that we don't have. And one thing that pushed me towards the English cockers was just kind of those. I have 2 young boys, right?
Okay.
A 4-year-old boy and a 1-year-old boy.
Yep.
And they need to have a dog, but it needs to be a dog that can handle being in the house. Not saying a lab can't, not saying any of these other dogs can't. But when you looked at the need for us and then the lineup of dogs that we would use, it just made sense to go that route.
Yep.
So
I like it.
it'll be a ton of fun.
Nick, do you have any upland dogs? I know you do some
I
upland
do.
hunting.
Yeah, so I got 2 English setters.
Oh, you do?
Yep, pointing dogs, yep.
Nice.
Yep.
Are they pretty close range dogs, or they range?
Well, so my boys play hockey. You guys know that. So I've got Sydney and Crosby.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So Crosby ranges pretty long, pretty wide. I mean, he's a 4 to 5, 600-yard dog. Sydney, she's like a 100-yard dog.
Yeah.
So I've got both. Yeah.
You know what I want to do? So I've upland hunted behind some nice pointers, but one thing I've never done. I grew up in the horse world. I would love to do an horseback upland hunt.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be
with
cool.
pointing dogs.
Yep.
I mean, it's a thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Have a badass scabbard for my side by side. Dogs go on point right up there. Step off,
That would be badass.
poke a few, and then get back on the horses and keep going.
I want to
going.
do some duck hunts on horseback. You could totally do it.
I know.
Bring the wall tent, pack the wall tent, do the whole thing on
That'd be
horseback.
pretty wild.
Yeah, you get back up in there, shoot some ducks.
Matt and I, we got this book. I got Matt one for Christmas a couple years ago. It's a really cool historical goose hunting book, and it's called Images of the Morning Sport. And it's old school goose hunts, right? All about goose hunting, and there's a ton of Chessies in that book.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
And there's all these photos of these dudes, like, wearing shirts and ties. They're black and white, and they're holding their stringers of ducks, or there's horses in the photo, and they're, like, draped over the saddle horn, like the duck straps, goose straps. And I'm like, man, we got to
that's super
recreate
cool.
this
Yeah.
photo. Like, shirts and ties,
Yeah.
like, do it right, nice vest, and black and white photo. I think it'd be so gangster.
Yeah, that would.
Like a Peaky Blinders style,
Yeah.
trophy
That'd
shot.
be
We
super
could have
cool.
Joe Hofer. We could get some pants from him and the suspenders and everything.
Totally.
I mean, handmade wool pants.
100%,
Be
bro.
sweet.
Yeah, no, I think it'd be really cool. All right, so tell us about Canton Retrievers.
So Canton Retrievers was born out of it was a hobby that turned into a job. I didn't have any intentions of training dogs at any significant level.
What did you plan to do for a living?
So I got a degree in business management and marketing from the University of Montana. So I was running an ammunition corporation at the time. So I was doing that, and then a couple of my buddies wanted their dogs trained and started training those, and it kind of evolved from there.
Were you married when you made that switch?
Yes.
What did your wife think about you quitting like a
She's all on board.
normal job?
She's on board.
Is she?
100%, yeah.
That's
Yep.
cool.
Yep.
I think that's a big part.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got to have that, right?
You have to have the support at home. I mean, we've found that too.
Yep.
I mean, if you're going to quit something that's steady to go
Right.
try something out,
Try it out.
especially
See
when
what
you have
happens.
a family and all
Yep.
that, I mean, it's a real commitment.
Okay, so you quit. You started training dogs.
Yep. It kind of evolved from there. I've never advertised a day in my life. It's all been word of mouth, and it just kind of evolved.
Do you think the beard establishes credibility when clients meet you?
100%, yep.
Yeah.
I tried shaving it off, and it didn't go well for me. Yeah, business kind of dropped off. So
Yeah.
I'll be honest, when we dropped Smoke off, if you'd been clean shaven, we probably would have just turned
Yeah.
around.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Might have just tied him to the fence and left.
Yeah. Yeah.
Asked you to give them to the trainer.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, when the trainer
tra-
gets back, can you go ahead and get this is
Yeah.
Smoke.
Hey, we're here for dog training. If he ends up coming
Yeah.
back, can you give it to your boss, please?
Right. Right.
That's a great beard, though.
Yeah.
I like that you got a little gray in there.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah. I got
No,
two
I'm
bo-
actually
two-
jealous of it.
Are you?
Oh, dude.
Oh, man.
100%. I got 2 little tufts of gray hair right above my ears on both sides.
Yeah.
And every day you got to catch them in the right light or in the mirror in the right day. And every time I see them, I'm like, man, I wish I had a little more.
I had a complex for a while when it first started setting in.
Really?
But, yeah. But it
Yeah.
is what it is. I'm not going to dye it. So
Normally the
let it
red
rip.
beards don't get it as quick. It's
Right.
the guys with the black beards.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm jealous,
Yeah.
if I'm being honest.
All right. Fair enough.
Yeah, you should embrace the gray.
Yep. All right.
I don't know if I have any white beards. It's not thick enough to be able to tell, really.
I haven't seen any real gray hairs come through on you yet.
on my eyebrows a little bit.
Really?
Yeah,
I mean, he's 3 years younger than me, and he still gets more gray.
Yep.
I know it.
Jealous.
It's the dogs. They give me the gray hair.
Dogs will do it.
Worrying about them, stressed about them.
Yeah.
Yep. Thinking about them.
So how many years have you had Canton Retrievers going?
Since 2012. That's
Okay.
what it was. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So
13
years.
13
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
Right on. Let me ask you this, and this is a question I think a lot of people wonder. Have you found that taking a hobby and turning it into your profession had a negative impact on your enjoyment?
It's different, right? So I wouldn't say it takes away from it. There's just a next level of responsibility for it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not. There's more. I have more on my plate to make sure that these dogs do what they're expected to do in any given time. So I wouldn't say it's taken away from it. It's added to it, just because I enjoy the process more now, I guess I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's an interesting way to put that. And when you say that, I feel the same way.
Right.
You know, I started taking photos to be able to go hunting more.
Mhm.
That was my whole reason. Like, I want to spend more time in the field. And so the only way I could figure out, well, if I carry a camera around, this was before the camera man really was a thing. And I'm just like, I don't know, we'll see what happens, right? And waterfowl hunting became a job.
Yep.
And for the first little while, it was like, yes, I'm hunting. And then once you started to have to produce, like
Mhm.
actually produce and deliver, then it's a different level.
Yep.
And now with what we're doing, you know, from a hunting perspective and doing land management, and I mean, you care about it that much more,
Yep.
right? If it doesn't work, your mind is just
Yep.
always spinning. You lay in bed and you're just like, gosh, what could we do next? Or
Right.
why did that go wrong? Or why did that go right? And how do we recreate it?
Yep.
It's an ongoing thing. So I think that's right. It's just another level.
It's a level
Of
of
love.
accountability for
Right.
sure,
Right.
which I think if you go into it with the right mentality, I'm finding that it can increase the enjoyment for sure.
It can also
But
drag you down.
Yeah, absolutely. Can I read you guys something?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find my phone real quick. I think you'll appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. It can drag you down, though. You know?
I mean, the truth is, it's easy to look at somebody and go, man, it'd be awesome to do what they do for a living, or how lucky are they? But at the end of the day, man, there's really good and really challenging parts to every profession.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
Mhm.
They say do something you enjoy and you never work a day in your life. I disagree wholeheartedly. You work your ass off, actually. When your passion is your work, there's no meaning to your purpose. When your passion is your work, you become obsessive and the work consumes you. There's no clocking out, no mindlessly checking out. When your work is never done, or my work is never done, there's always time for another dog. There's always something broken, always something to clean up. However, when the job has purpose and meaning to you, the work becomes menial to you. Now, don't hear what I'm not saying. I'm beyond blessed and fortunate to wake up, go to the kennel, and communicating with breathing creatures that view the world much different than humans. To me, this work provides me with fulfillment and fuels my soul to be better trainer, better human, better father, and better husband. But to suggest that there is no work where there is passion is to devalue the time spent learning, sleepless nights, missed sporting events, and time away from family. There will always be work. In reality, the key is to find you that work that provides you with the necessary fulfillment in your life that fuels your fire from within. When that fire is lit and burning, the end result is a much greater reward than the sacrifice it takes to get there.
Did you write that?
That's
I
really
did.
good. Good
Bro.
job.
Yeah,
That's great.
That's some Hemingway
Yeah.
stuff there. That's great.
yeah,
I actually agree wholeheartedly
Yeah,
with it,
absolutely.
too.
Me too.
Like, that's really cool. I like that.
yeah. It's
Me
just,
too,
I mean,
man. That's
you think
Man
about
of
it so
many
much. I mean,
talents.
I spend a lot of time of my day watching dogs poop. So you think about all these things, like going through the motions and why am I doing this? But that's it for me.
Yeah.
Like it just, for me, it makes me better, one way or the other.
yeah.
You know, I'll tell you something interesting. as a client on the backside, when I got Smoke and was looking for somebody that had trained, Chesapeake Bay Retrievers specifically. Obviously, I like the proximity to you. Anywhere in Montana, if you're within 4 hours, it feels like, we're neighbors, right? But as I was kind of asking around and talking to people, the feedback that I got about your kennel and you and your operation was like overwhelmingly.
Really?
I didn't hear a single, even mediocre word.
Yep.
So it's obvious you take shit serious.
Yep.
But I think that's really cool. I mean, I didn't talk to a ton of people, but, we were talking around and asking people, hey, if you were getting a Chessie, who would you have? And, dude, it was like Nick.
Good.
It was unbelievable. So I think the words you wrote are absolutely true, but I think it shows in the results that you've had with your clients and friends and people that you've been around, because it was actually overwhelmingly impressive.
Yeah, that passion is contagious too, and they can feel that.
Yep, and I tell people all the time, when people drop their dogs off, if they think their dog, they think about their dog a lot. I think about their dog twice as much, because they're my responsibility at that point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's
that accountability, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Have you had any? So you've been doing this for 13 years. Have you had any nightmare clients? You don't have to name names, but
there's some that are more difficult than others.
How so? What? Oh, actually, this brings me a question. How can a person who wants to send their dog to a pro trainer be a good client or a nightmare client? Maybe nightmare is not the word.
So the nightmare clients are the ones that always are changing the objectives for the dog. Mm-hmm. So if I try to set down beforehand and list out, okay, we're going to get this done, this done, this done. Well, then I crank those out with that dog, and it's doing exceptionally well. And then the dog's there. Well, let's do this too. Well, I'm on a time frame. I've planned out my day, my progress with that dog for a certain amount of times, and I'm ahead of it. So let's start chasing another objective that may or may not be able to get done in a certain amount of time. And people don't realize they're living, breathing creatures. Dog training is never a linear path. We always have the ups and downs. So we may be in a down trend during the when they pick up, and then it's a fault. It's not a fault of the dog. It's just where we were in training, because we started chasing a different objective than what we originally planned. Mm-hmm. So that's difficult. I wouldn't say it's a nightmare client, but that's a client that is challenging. Mm-hmm. It's trying to find that happy medium for the dog and the owner, but it's with a moving objective that's hard to do.
Other than paying the bill on time, how would you describe a really great client?
Come out and see me. Spend some time with me and your dog. I mean, because even though the dog can do it for me, doesn't mean it can do it for the owner. So allow me to do my job, which is work with the dog, train it, but at the same time is have some contact with me and come out and see the good, bad, and the ugly with the dogs. And
so you prefer the clients coming out and working with you?
Not every day, but on a frequency, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Would you prefer we come out more often?
It'd be nice to get more involvement, if you guys get out and especially with Brady, to see where we are in the whole progress. But at the same time, it's we've talked quite a bit on the phone, so I mean we know where he's at, and I think we're on the same page and where we want to go. So we know where we're heading to. So
yeah, and I wouldn't ever claim to be a world-class handler. I know everything, but I've handled enough dogs that I feel like when we talk on the phone and he's explaining where Smoke is at, I understand it. And I am confident that if any given day we were talking on the phone and I took Smoke away, I would know how to handle to that level.
Yeah.
Another thing about the relationship that we have with you, Brady has with you, is he's kind of opened it up a little bit and said, take him for as long as you need him, not I'm willing to pay for 2 or 3 months.
Right.
Get all this stuff done, and I'll pick him up, and he better be there.
Right.
So that's a difference too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
It was interesting on the way here. Matt asked a question in the truck, and he said, "Is there anything you're hoping to see when you see Smoke?" And my answer to him was, and so I grew up in the horse world, and I trained a lot of horses, and I had clients that I trained for. And I've learned over time, if you send your animal, your horse, your dog, your whatever, to a professional trainer and you have that trust to entrust that person with that animal, I think you just have to trust that person. So what I said is no, there's not anything that I'm hoping to see.
Sure.
Because I trust you, right? And we communicate, and I'm also okay with a dog having a little bit of a setback. It's like, hey, man, he was doing really good, and he's kind of been a bit of a shit for the last 2 weeks, or we've kind of plateaued a little bit, and it's like, okay, well, we'll work through it.
Yep. I mean, they're
and then other times
creatures.
it's like there's 2 weeks where they get 2 months worth of work done in 2 weeks, and you're like, holy smokes, we're hauling ass. And I learned that on the trainer side from horses a lot.
Yep.
And so I think when I got into the Gundog world and had sent some dogs to pro trainers, I think just trusting the trainer and just if they tell you where the dog is, they're telling you the truth.
Yep.
So just be okay with it, and that's the process, right? And like you said, they're living, breathing creatures. I mean, we have good days and bad days, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and let the trainer set the pace and set the expectation.
100%.
Right, which is what you do on the front end.
Yep.
Because, again, at the end of the day, the end result, whatever that is for people, some people it might just be I want my dog to run out and pick up a duck and bring it back. Well, that's great.
Yep.
Doesn't need to handle, doesn't need to do anything. I just want a meat dog. Well, that's fine. Or I want to go run the grand and pass the grand 6 times in a row with no fails. That's okay, too. I think you just have to have the end goal in mind and then just be willing to go through the journey, whatever it takes.
Yep. When whatever it takes is the key part of that, too. Like, there's some dogs that may get to the grand in 2 years, 3 years. I mean, there's some dogs that are 8 years old. Like, they're still just getting there. So we got to be on their timeline, the dog's timeline. They're not on our timeline. We got to work to them.
Yeah.
Keep pushing, keep challenging that dog, but at the same time as, we got to train on their timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about one of our new favorite subjects, Chesapeake Bay Retrievers.
Yeah.
Who do we have with us here today?
This is Miss Lolo. This is Canton's Roadside Delivery is her name.
Yeah, tell us the story about this.
So Lolo came from, I had a litter 7 years ago. The litter, she was breached almost in her mama. So we headed to Missoula from Stevensville. And she was born in the back seat of my truck going through Lolo, Montana. So we named her Lolo, and her registered name is Canton's Roadside Delivery.
That's such a great story. I love that.
Yeah.
And she was the only one that came out.
Yep, during the drive. Yep.
That's awesome.
But she's not still a dog. I think she's 7 or 8 now.
Sweet girl.
Yeah, she's a sweet girl.
We've talked about this with you in just chit chat, but when I first started talking, well, I did like 3 years of research about Chessies. The boys knew, but I wasn't telling everybody about it. It's kind of like your dirty little secret. You're researching on the side. But once the word got out that we were getting a Chessie, even before we got Smoke, you're hearing this, negative feedback. It was either negative or wildly positive. There was not a lot of middle ground, and people were like, yeah, Chessie be great, man, do it. It was like, oh, man, Chessies are the best. That's all I would ever hunt with, live and die, breathe Chessie, or like.
There was a lot of that, though.
There was
more than I would have expected.
There was a lot of positive, and then there was a lot of like, good luck, pal. So tell it, how did you get into the Chessies? Because it's unique in the retriever world.
Yeah, so my background with the Chessie, so I didn't grow up bird hunting at all. I had a buddy that wanted me to go duck hunting, and I told him no. I'm like, I have no desire to go freeze my butt off and shoot a duck. He's like, no, you got to try it. So I went out on a Sunday. He had a Chessie, and when I shot my first goose, dog busted through the ice, went out, picked it up, and brought it back. Like, it was the coolest thing I've ever seen. And that was on a Sunday. By Wednesday, I bought a shotgun. Thursday, I ordered my first dog, and it was Chessie because that's what he had, so that's what I had to have. It was just the coolest thing ever. So that's how I got into it. I didn't really research. Like, it just, that was a duck dog.
Where'd you get the Chessie from?
Over in Roundup, ASD Kennels. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
I got my first and second one from them. Yeah.
Okay. And you train those dogs yourself?
I did.
And that's
yep.
how you got into the
that's
dog
how I
training?
got into it. So I got my first one, and things are going okay. Dog was picking up birds and bringing them back, but I saw the YouTube videos. The dogs do these amazing things. I'm like, I want that one. And I hooked up with a local pro to kind of learn more and took him over there, and he did an evaluation. He's like, no, this one's not going to do what you want to do. I'm like, well, I don't have any more money, so this is what we're going to do. And he was more probably stubborn and redhead than anything else. Is going to prove him wrong. So I started. My wife bought me 5 hourly sessions with that gentleman, and we became really good friends. So I started training with him every day, just trying to immerse myself in everything Gundog related, and kind of rolled from there and got a senior title on that dog, finished title. yeah, so it just kind of took off from there. I didn't really have any intentions of Chessie. It wasn't lab or Chessie. It was just that was a duck dog.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And you've never looked back?
Never looked back.
I mean, I know you have both and
Right.
train both and run both, which
Yep.
is normal, but what do you think, why do you think people would say good luck?
With a Chessie?
Yeah. Or like, oh, I don't know if I'd do that if I was you,
I just
pal.
don't think they've been around enough to really understand how to work with them, if that makes sense. Like they may have been around one or two of their buddies and they were just bullheaded dogs, but I've seen a lot of bullheaded labs too. So
Yeah.
I just don't think that the guys that are the people that have that mindset have been around enough Chessies to really understand.
Their data pool is shallow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got that impression because when I would ask people, because I'm inquisitive, so I'd ask, why do you say that? Well, man, this one time back in 04, I hunted with this Chessie, and he was a mean son of a bitch, or he wouldn't do this, or he wouldn't listen. And I'm like, okay, tell me about the other ones you've been around.
Yeah.
It was always aggression.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they always had one negative, like
It was
one or
hard-headed,
two.
hard-headed or aggressive.
Yep.
Yeah. They just have like an aggressive interaction with a Chessie that they didn't own,
Sure.
right? Somebody else owned, and it just that's a Chessie.
And you have to look back in history, right? So the Chessies were bred to protect the market hunter ships, right? So that's a lot of that aggression was what they bred into those dogs years ago. So I'm not saying that, aggression, they're coming after people, whatever it be, is bred into them. But at the same time, it's like dogs are bred for certain things, whatever it be, whatever that dog's job is.
Of course.
And that's part of it,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's kind of awesome that the Chessie's the only retriever that was built and designed in America.
America, yep.
100%
Yep.
American made.
Yep.
The greatest song ever.
Yeah.
No, it's been really interesting, and as I did my research, what I figured out very quickly, again, having had multiple gun dogs and being a working dog guy myself, is I learned that there is a group of people around the country breeding some really, really nice Chessies.
Mm-hmm.
And I could say, well, I wouldn't want to get just some backyard breeding, but I would say that about a Labrador too,
Yep,
or
absolutely.
a Golden Retriever or anything else like that.
Today, Luke had a lot of insight about this too.
He did.
He was talking about that and then the breeding and how, not that you can necessarily breed all the aggression out of them, but that a lot of these high-level Chessies today, that anger has been kind of bred out, right? It's weeded out.
Right.
You get a real mean one, he doesn't get bred.
Right.
And he was very positive with Smoke's litter, and obviously you have a half sister to that.
I do, yeah.
To Smoke. So yeah, they seem like great dogs.
Yep.
It was really interesting. I was talking to a fellow one time on the phone. He was from Pennsylvania, breeder there, and I was just kind of questioning, Chessies, and again, kind of in the learning stage. And he brought up an interesting point. He goes, the hunt, test, and field trial game has changed the breed a little bit because people were breeding to succeed at those dog games. And so, as such, you couldn't breed a dog that was bred to protect the boats that were full of 400 dead canvasbacks. You were looking for dogs that were great markers and, biddable and obedient and good at running blinds and would listen and work as a team. And he goes, over the human generations happen quick in history, but dog generations happen really quick.
Yeah.
And he goes, man, there's been so many generations of just some high-level hunting dogs that have all the drive and all the hunt and all the grit that a Chessie's known for. But because people are wanting to run them in the games, some of that's
gone.
Some of that negativity has been bred out of them.
Yep. I believe that.
Yeah, and I will go to my grave saying Labrador Retrievers are just the most awesome dogs. I love labs. I've had great labs, and we've got Led on the truck here. And, I mean, Led's our boy. We've been running with Led for 7 years. He's been on every hunt with Matt and I for literally 7 years.
Yep.
And but I'm noticing a trend in Labradors, and I'm curious if you're noticing it, is I feel like they're getting softer and softer and softer.
I think that's all dogs in general. That's people in general.
Yeah.
I mean, I can
So
definitely
because
see that.
people are getting softer, they need dogs that can live with them. And it's interesting. I mean, I'm 43 years old. It's not that long ago that, like, when I grew up, I didn't know anybody that had a dog that lived in the house, dude.
Yeah.
Like, at all.
Yeah.
Like you had a dog house and a 10-foot chain, and the dog was out there, and when you went hunting, you went and unchained the dog and went hunting.
Yep.
And now I feel like if somebody pulled up and I had a dog chained up in my backyard, somebody'd probably call animal control on me.
Yep, absolutely.
And so it's really interesting, and in a way, it makes me worried about the future of working dogs because these working dogs were bred to work, right? And I think, for an example, one line of dogs that has done really good of maintaining that is sled dogs, right? They all live outside.
Yep.
They work in extreme conditions. They run 100 miles a day, and that's just the job, and so that's just what they do.
And that's the norm for that dog, is to be outside. That is normal for them. Yep.
And so those dogs are the same, but some of our breeds that we love now, the Labrador Retriever, the Chesapeake, the pointing dogs, all of these, there's so many of them that, I think the off-switch thing is great, and I'm a fan of all of that, but there are thoughts in my head at times when I'm concerned about the future of some of these dogs, in 50 to 100 years, which in dog generations is a lot of generations.
Yeah.
Like what are our dogs going to look like in 100 years when humans get softer and softer and more reliant on technology and more of everything, the luxuries that we have? How are our dogs going to mirror us? And
they're going to.
They're going to, for sure.
Yep.
It's a bit of a scary thought.
Yep.
Because I think it's so cool, the Chesapeake Bay Retrievers, known for being able to handle the cold and being a good swimmer and being able to, all the stereotypes you hear. That son of a bitch will bust ice, and you can take him to the Bering Sea and hunt king eiders with him and 10-foot rollers, all the things, right? Sea duck dogs. But I'm around a lot of Labradors with what we do, and we see hundreds of them, and there's some really, really, really nice dogs, but I feel like generally I just see a gradual softening.
Yep.
And in my research, and I'm sure it happens in Chessies too, but in my research, I find that the Chessie breeders were more committed to maintaining the breed versus marketing a dog that, if I ever see somebody marketing a litter, and one of the first things you see is these puppies will have a great off switch. For me personally and my personality, it's like instant turnoff.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Tell me about their on switch.
Right.
What do they look like at full throttle? Right? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, the Chessies have, the breeders that are out there today have done a great job of maintaining the breed standard, the height and the coat and everything personality-wise. So, yeah, I don't think they've become as susceptible to Labrador breeders, but at the same time, there's definitely been a change in the breed as a whole, but not quite as the level as Labs.
One thing I find fascinating with Chessies is you see a lot of dual champions.
Yep.
So in Labradors, show dogs, I'm convinced they couldn't retrieve something off that Yeti cooler to me. They're overweight, they're fat, they don't look anything like a field-bred Labrador.
Yeah.
But when I'm looking at these Chessies in dog shows, a lot of times they're, master hunter field champions with a bench championship on them as well. They're true dual champions. And the breed standard and what they're showing is often the same dog that's out in the field in the duck blind.
Funny story about that. I had never done a dog show, ever, and I got talked into going to one in Missoula, and I literally took that dog from the pond that morning. I put on my suit and tie, won the show, put him back on the trailer, went back to training that pond that afternoon.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, it was a Chessie.
Does it make you want to put on more suits and ties and go
absolutely
run
not.
dog shows?
Prance around. No.
Is there value to that?
There is, in some breeders. Some people look for that. That's their game. That's what they want to do, is show that dog. So yeah, there's value to it because the dog would be up to breed standard. So breeding wise, yeah.
I'm thinking like smoke. Let's just say, and you guys can get into this if you want to, about breeding smoke potentially down the road. Would it be valuable for smoke to have that bench title?
It would tell, on paper that dog is up to breed standard.
Yeah.
Basically,
he reaches the maximum level of physical
structure,
everything.
Yeah.
Yep. He's what a Chessie should look like.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's a good-looking dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. Talk to me about Chessie color.
So there's multiple different shades of Chessie. So we have brown, light brown, dead grass, light dead grass, sedge, which is Lolos, more of a reddish color. So there's a wide spectrum. There's not just your set like Labrador, yellow, black, chocolate. There's a wide spectrum of those. And within those, like even though a dog is maybe dead grass on paper, they may look light dead grass. So it just depends on the breeder how they sign them up too.
Yeah. Tell me about, so I was looking into the genetic testing, and again, I look at all this because, again, you know, not putting the cart before the horse, but potentially Smoke gets titled, passes his health test, and at some point Smoke can be bred, right? On paper, I think Smoke has a pretty hammer pedigree, right? I mean, in a 5-generation pedigree, there's very few dogs that aren't Master Hunter or above. And it's a line of dogs that isn't prevalent on the West Coast,
right,
like we've talked about. But in the genetic testing, I saw that they test for a long coat gene. It's an undesirable gene. I didn't know Chessies before that could have long coats.
Yeah, they're super shaggy. I've never seen one in person. I saw one on Facebook one time.
Yeah,
that's the only time that I've ever seen one. But yeah, they're super shaggy.
Yeah. And it's a negative.
It's a negative for sure. Yeah.
I wonder how they got that. I mean, like any breed, they were made by mixing multiple breeds.
Chessies are mutts.
Well, all dogs. I mean, really, all dogs are.
Yep.
Some of them have just been mutts a little sooner than others.
Yep.
But, that long coat gene was an interesting one to me that they were testing for that and putting it on dogs.
Yep.
You know, information on their health testing and things like that.
Do you guys know what the crosses were that created the Chessie back in the day?
It's such a mix.
Hodgepodge.
Yeah.
Is there anything that's like a heavy percentage?
I don't know.
I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, I truly
don't know. I don't know. When you read the history of the Chesapeake Bay Retriever, what you read is basically there were 2 dogs. One's named Canton and one's named Sailor.
Yeah.
And those dogs were bred and created the Chesapeake Bay Retriever.
Yeah.
But, you know, you get back into those days and it's like record keeping wasn't what it is today.
Poor, non-existent.
And people are like, yep, they came and they were in the area, and it's like, well, this dog's picking up ducks in the Chesapeake Bay, Maryland. He's a Chesapeake Bay Retriever.
Yeah.
Real original name.
And Canton was one of the founding, that was the founding male of the breed?
Yep. So Canton Sailor, they came over on a ship named Canton, but Canton was the male of the 2 original. Yep.
Makes sense.
Hence the name Canton Retrievers.
Canton Retrievers, yeah.
Yeah. Is there a time when you would encourage a waterfowl hunter not to get a Chessie but get a Labrador?
I would never dissuade, like say you shouldn't get one, but I would educate the person on what to expect out of it. So I'm never going to dissuade a person out of a Chessie because I love them. But at the same time, it's like they need to understand good, bad, and ugly of the Chessie.
Do you think it's more work than having a Labrador?
I think you have to think about things more.
Yep.
Yep.
And I've only had Smoke so far.
Yep.
I do have another one coming, but it's been my experience before I brought Smoke to you.
Yep.
Yeah, what is that? Like, let's just say I was looking to get a retriever of some sort. You know that I love goose hunting in Montana with my pals, right? It's going to get cold. It's going to run hard. And I'm looking at a Chessie.
Yep.
What do you tell me?
I would say understand that training a Chessie is going to be a game, not really a game, but a process in which you have to think, you have to get the dog to think that what they're doing is their idea, and then you've won. But you have to make a commitment to that dog that you're going to take that time to do that. In a lab, you can, I mean, there's so many labs out there that you can squeeze on and push on. You can't squeeze on a Chessie. Like, they will resent you for it if you start doing that. When I say squeeze, put a pressure or make them do something that they don't want to do. With labs, you can get more of that out of them. A Chessie, you won't. So just understand that you won't. Your training style has to be a little bit different than it would with if you have any history with a lab.
And more work, right?
Yep.
Not only time, but I think that you have to know what you're doing on the front end.
Yep. And what relationship wise, I mean, I think the Chessies, I don't want to say they're 1 or 2 person dog, but they're definitely they take value in their person. So just know that you have to spend the time to get what you want out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brady made a good point. He compared it to horses and mules.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Very much like that. I feel like a horse, you can, and force isn't the word. I mean, I know it's a taboo word, but you can force a horse to do anything.
Yeah.
You cannot force a mule to do anything. You have to like outthink them and almost trick them into doing it.
Yeah.
And then they do it and you praise them and they're like, ha, dumbass, that was my idea.
Yeah, it was my
the
idea
whole
anyway.
time. And you're like, all right, buddy, good thought, you know.
It's like working with Brady.
Yeah.
Seriously, I think a Chessie is the perfect dog for Brady.
Well, it's funny when I was doing the research, you know, everybody's like, hey, here's the thing about a Chessie. They can take the cold. They're hardworking. They're, you know, they'll stop at nothing to get a bird, but they can be a little hard-headed at times. They can be aggressive. They can kind of be assholes. And I'm like, that's me.
Yeah.
You're describing me. This is great.
Yeah.
No, I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about the dog. Tell me about the dog. No, that is the dog. Okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
All
this is
right.
a great, this is a match made in heaven.
You know, I kind of, and I take a little bit of credit for this, but I, when we were looking at dogs, he was looking for dogs, right? I say our dog, but because we take care, you know, it's a group dog, crew
It's a
dog.
team member.
Yeah.
And I was like, please do whatever you do, don't get a black dog. Like, we do not want a black dog. No black dogs. No more black dogs. We've had enough no more black dogs.
Because of photography.
No black.
Sure.
And I'm just like, no black dogs. And so he started going down the route of getting a big yellow male, right? And we're going down that route, had a couple hiccups, and I'm like, what if we just say fuck it and go with a Chessie? And he's like,
Change
I don't
things up a little
know.
bit, you know.
And then he started like going on this deep dive about Chessies, and then all of a sudden he comes back, he's like, I think I'm going to get a Chessie.
Yeah.
I'm like, hell yeah. Don't get a dark brown one. But even a dark brown one, from a photographic standpoint, they still look so sharp, you know. But I did push him to get
The light
that
one.
color.
Yeah.
Well, and he liked that color anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, they look so cool.
They
They're
do.
very,
Yeah.
very unique.
Yeah.
I have found that they are unique in the breed.
Yeah.
You know, when you look at
They're not as
Chessies,
common.
you do not see a lot of them.
No, most of them are brown.
Yeah.
Either dark brown, light brown, what regular brown.
Yep.
There's varying shades of brown, and then you'll have the sedge and the dead grass
Yep.
kind of as outliers.
Yeah, you don't see very many sedge either. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yep.
Let's chat about Smoke. Tell us how it's been with him for 4.5 months. I'm curious, two things. How it's been with him, and you can be totally honest,
Yeah.
like, tell us about Smoke. Like, is he a shithead? Is he pretty normal for a Chessie? What do you envision, like, or what are challenges you could see us having, or what's the good, the bad, the ugly of Smoke?
Yeah, I think, you know, for Smoke, he's been a typical male Chessie. Like, he enjoys the work. He likes to engage. There's times where he wants to be a puppy, which is the maturity level. I mean, I feel that Chessie males take longer to mature even than females. So he has that maturity level that's a little bit younger than, I'd say, you know, a Labrador of equal time frame. But having him around has been a joy. I mean, he likes to get after it. I mean, you saw him out here today, like, when a bird is thrown or when he's told what to do, like, he gets after it. So it's been fun watching him progress from really not knowing much to a point where I can put him in a blind, launch a bird, shoot it, he holds steady, and go pick it up, bring it back, home, deliver. So
Yeah.
it's been good. You know, I think there's a lot of room for improvement, just with anything, you know, just like any other dog. But we're on a great path. I mean, he's running the force to pile, and he's running, 60, 70 yards doing that right now. So he has the confidence and momentum doing that right now at 10 months old, which is nice to see.
Yeah.
You've had him for
Yeah.
4 months.
Since September, middle of
Yeah.
September, right before bird season kicked off.
Yeah, I think it was right before the opener.
Yeah.
Yeah. We took him to Idaho with us. So we had him for the early goose season.
Yeah.
And
Couldn't remember exactly when we brought him here, but
we
it's,
brought
somewhere
him
4 or
we
5
brought
months.
him before the opener in Montana, because I remember when we went to our opener hunt with Trey and Coulter, we did not have him.
Yeah.
So it was somewhere
Yeah.
right in there.
Yeah.
That's great.
What is he bad at?
What's he bad at? Like, getting him, sometimes he's like, if he's unfocused, like, there's times where he just wants to run and get the zoomies, and it is what it is. I just let him get that out of the system, and then we rein him in from there. I don't think he's anything necessarily bad. It's just understanding him and his little quirks. I mean, all dogs have their quirks, so understanding figuring that out.
But as far as Chessies, you feel like he's on track, intelligent,
Yep, absolutely.
got the drive.
He's right where I'd like him to see.
Yeah. I love his size too.
Yeah.
I wasn't ever after like, some gargantuan giant of a dog, but I did want a bigger dog, and it's the one thing about Led. I love Led, my lab. But Led's dad was 85 pounds.
Yeah.
His mom was a big female, and he was like by far the biggest puppy in the litter, and then he like tops out at 71
I
pounds.
think he was a big dog when he came out today.
And I'm like, golly. So we were always kind of hoping he would get a little bit bigger. Now he handles big geese fine, but there are times it'd be better if he was 2 inches taller and 15 pounds heavier.
We really thought he was going to be taller.
That was the idea.
Yeah.
Tall and heavy.
Yeah.
And looking at Smoke right now, getting off your trailer to year old, like that dog he's a big dog.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, no, he's going to gain muscle. He's not probably going to gain much height on him, but he's going to gain muscle and really start to fill out.
He's plenty tall.
He's already taller.
He's way taller and longer than Led, leggier.
Yep.
Right.
Well, your Chessie Rip, he's how old again?
He's 4.
4.
Yeah, he's a little squattier, a little thicker.
Yeah, he's got a big barrel chest on him.
Yep.
Will Smoke get something like that?
I would. Yeah, I mean, more that he runs and builds that. Yeah, he's going to get a big bull chest on him.
Yeah. Yeah, because Rip has got quite the chest. I mean, that is a.
I think those
male
dogs, they kind of grow up and lengthwise year 1, year 1.5, and then they just kind of like widen out and muscle up and look good.
Yep.
How we doing on time, Matt?
Oh, well, I can't really see it, but you can keep going.
Okay.
50 minutes.
Oh wow.
Well, that's good to hear. No, I'm very, very happy with Smoke's progress with you, to this point, and just excited to keep watching it. And truth is, I'm mega excited for the waterfowl season to open, and we can all go do, Smoke's first hunt
put
together.
Him to work, yeah.
Well, and you're thinking about potentially running them in the junior?
Yeah, and Nick and I will work on that, but I think it'd be fun to go. And the truth is, I really want to get into the hunt test game. And if Smoke's ready to run, junior whatever level of hunt test, I think it'd be really fun. As much because I just want to go and participate and see the hunt tests. Mm-hmm. The truth is, I'd be fine taking Led and going and running Led in season tests, right? Like, I'm confident he can do it. Mm-hmm. And so I really want to get into the hunt test game. I've wanted to for years, but with businesses and kids and life, and it just kind of wasn't in the cards. But life situation has changed dramatically over the past 3 years at our house, as you know. And I think I'm going to have time to be able to go run some hunt tests. Part of the reason I haven't done it, and you know this about me, is I'm not good at like a part-time hobby. Mm-hmm. Like, right? You look at waterfowl hunting and fly fishing, like if I'm going to do it, I'm going to go all in. Mm-hmm. Now we're shopping for damn Ainley trailers over here and ready to go hard in the paint. So, yes, I want to run Smoke, but at the same time, going back to trusting the trainer, I'll listen to Nick. If Nick says, hey, dude, this dog can easily go run a junior hunt test, he's going to be fine.
Yep.
Like, yeah, it's great. I don't think getting a junior title's anything special.
No.
But it's just reps for the dog and for me.
And reps for you as
well.
well.
I mean, that's what I was going to say. I mean, the reps for you are going to be the biggest. The dog is capable of doing it. It's building a relationship with you and him that you can go out to an event like that and know that what you have and a dog, you know they're supposed to go out and pick up that bird or establish that hunt, pick up that bird. You know they're supposed to bring it back, deliver a heel. Like you'll have more confidence if you do that. If you engage with your dog going into hunting season, you've done all the work. Now it's just confidence that
putting it together and going. Yeah.
Yep.
The other thing for me personally is I know that I would enjoy the hunt test because I'd enjoy the atmosphere, the people, and the sport. But number two is it would keep me very motivated to train regularly.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
Because the way we've done it in the past, it'd be very easy, and Led's such on autopilot now. Like, the truth is, I'm confident with Led. I could, basically not run drills all summer. Yeah. And then in September be like, all right, pal, and we go run some drills, we run some blinds, we kind of tighten a few things up, and then we're totally good for waterfowl season. Mm-hmm. But running hunt tests will keep me in the training field,
engaged,
all the time, running dogs, which is what I want to do, right? I think I would really enjoy doing that. And, we've got great training grounds, and we've got great water. We've got everything to do it, at a very high level on, these different ranches. And so there's really no reason at this point for me not to do them unless I just didn't want to do them.
Yep.
I really want to get Nick out. sooner than later, this spring or summer, so you can check it out.
Absolutely.
Come look
That'd be
at
awesome.
it. I mean, we got a few different spots to show you. There's some really cool grounds that I think your wheels will just start spinning.
I'm sure.
Well,
You'll
we've
start calling us in the middle of the night and being like, "Hey, so here's my thought."
We've talked about hosting a Gundog clinic that
Mhm.
Nick would teach and lead, and hosting it out on the ranch, and bringing people in and doing a 2 or 3 day clinic, which I still think we need to chat about that and figure out dates. Off,
we should
off
do that.
the podcast.
Yeah.
But I think it'd be really fun. I was telling Nick too, Matt. I'm going to call Mike Cunningham and get an extra dog pit coming.
Yeah.
Because I know
we can start working smoke through
we've
it.
got those 2 coming. But, yeah, you can work smoke in it. But looking at, Nick's got everything here, like, basically perfect. But I do think it'd be cool to have one of those dog pits if he's got clients or customers that ever hunt out of pits. What we found this year with all of the dogs, and, we hunt over a handful of finished dogs, they picked it up quick, but getting in and out of that dog pit is really unnatural for them when they're used to a dog hide or a marsh stand like this. Because they have to go straight down into the ground.
Yeah, that's weird.
And they got to go straight down. And if you want to hide and you care about the hunt more than the dog, you're going to close the lid on them.
Yep.
So now they have very limited field of view. They can still see, but it's limited. But there's no breaking, no nut. They're stuck in that hole until you release them. It would be really beneficial for him to have one.
There's a whole lot of blinds.
Especially. Yeah, there's a whole lot of blinds because, this dog sits on the far left end of the pit, right here. Well, anything that happens over here is every single one of them is blind.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Because you just can't see it.
Can't see it.
But I think it'd be a cool thing for Nick to have here and in the field. We could take a couple spade shovels and dig that sucker out in an hour and get it buried and set, and then he'd just have it forever.
Sounds like a great job for Dane.
Great idea. Next
Where
time
is
we
Dane?
come, Dane, get your shovel.
Oh, yeah, he's got a cigar.
We do know from setting pits, Dane can run a shovel.
He can run a shovel.
He can run a shovel. So
Yes, he can.
I think it's good. It's good to get more practice too. So, yeah. But yeah, no, I'll call Mike. We'll get one of those coming because they're really cool, and I think you'll like the design. And then again, once it's in, you're going to want to choose where it's going to go and be committed to it because once it's in, it can just live there forever.
Yeah.
But just the idea of teaching a dog to get in, it's just such an unorthodox
it's not
thing
normal.
to go straight into the ground. Because on top, there's just this little metal lid, and to the dog, it looks like there's no blind, right? And I remember opening it up and telling Led, I'm showing him, like, kennel. And he wouldn't do it. And finally, I had to, like, full-on WWE his ass into that thing.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I had to, it was the night before our first hunt in them.
Yep.
You're like, we need to go. And so it's middle of the night. So it's in the dark, and we got headlamps. We're like, and Brady's like, kennel. He's like, what?
Yeah.
And you had to lift him up, and I had to grab his back legs and put him in there.
Because you almost have to, like, go head first and, like, down in. So he's like, the hell are we doing? And then he got in, and, you're petting him, good boy. And he's kind of looking around. He's like, okay, it's not so bad in here. It's a barrel full of straw.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice. And, all right, hop out. And he hops out and get him back. 5 or 6 repetitions, and he was good to go.
Yeah.
And then we closed the lid on him. And he's like,
Yeah. Yeah. But
Stuck
there's,
here now.
and you'll see the design. There's basically 3 different ways you can run dogs out of it it's kind of a modular lid.
Mm-hmm.
You can go full closed. You can go closed with a little wire over them. You can go open. But it's really neat.
Yeah.
So we'll get one coming for you. We'll throw it in the back of the
cool.
truck when we come next and bring it over, and Dane will bury it for you.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
I'll have the spot picked out for him.
Yeah.
perfect.
All you need is one good shovel.
Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect.
He's got a good attitude,
Yep.
so he'll be fine.
Yeah.
Ground's not too rocky, huh?
Nope.
Be good. Well, no, that's exciting. Yeah, I'm very excited for that. I look forward to, doing some hunting together this fall too.
That'd be fun.
Whether you come out here, or we can meet somewhere or go on. I think it'd be fun to do a little road trip together too.
Yeah.
Go to some of our spots that we road trip to and have Nick bring a handful of dogs and bring smoke and lead. And
Yeah, run some dogs.
Yeah.
let's
cycle
go. Let's go smash birds in the morning and then scout and run dogs in the afternoon and have
Love
fun.
How many
Love it.
dogs do you have during the season?
Depends on time of year. I mean, I average 10, 15 gun dogs year round.
Yeah.
A lot of the winter months I'm spending doing obedience, doing force fetch, things like that, getting them ready for the next spring. So, yeah, I'm year round, probably 10 to 15 dogs.
Yeah.
Yep.
So those dogs could come out in the field and
Yep.
do a little hunting or
Yep,
whatever.
absolutely.
That's great.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun.
Yeah. We got birds to pick up for sure.
Mm-hmm.
We tend to get birds to pick
Yeah,
up.
it's good. I got dogs to pick them up.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be fun.
Yeah.
I look forward to putting Smoke in the lineup this fall and getting him going. And, I think no matter how much training you do with the trainer and the training grounds, there's no substitute for just going hunting.
Nope. Birds
And
make a bird
just-
dog.
The birds make a bird dog,
Yeah.
and they just kind of got to learn the program, too. Like, Led, at this point, he knows we're driving out in the field. I'm going to let him out. I don't know your opinion on this, but I always let my dogs out while we're setting up the decoys because I'm fine with them. They kind of get the zoomies out. They can pee. They can poop. They kind of get their mind right.
Yep.
And then they know, and it's all right. Everybody's back at the trailer. Dog comes back. Collar's on in the blind. Park the truck, and he's like, okay, let's go.
Do it. Go time.
I got something that I would like to request for
Sure.
Smoke.
Mhm.
So it would be really nice
Matt's about to talk some
Yeah.
shit. See this?
if
I don't know what he's doing, but I think I know where he's going.
No, I don't know. It would be really nice if when he got out, when we're going to set decoys, if he didn't shit right in the hole,
Oh, okay.
like right at the spot where everybody's going to be walking.
The kill hole.
The kill
Because
hole.
here's the deal. Led does it every single
Really?
time. He doesn't do it where the blind is. He doesn't do it off to the sides. He
Yeah.
does it right out in front where all the traffic is going to happen for the day.
He also has an uncanny ability. We haven't even set any decoys. We're like, all right, how are we going to set this spread? Like, what's the spread? And so Matt's kind of thinking it through. We're talking. And Led'll go take a shit. And sure enough, like, that is where we're trying to finish
X
birds.
marks the spot right
Yeah.
there.
Every
Yeah.
single time.
Yeah.
So if you could go ahead and just train him not to
I'll do that.
that,
Yep.
that would be great.
No sweat.
And barking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Led doesn't bark hunting at all.
No, he doesn't bark hunting.
Yeah.
No.
Barking in the trailer.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of barking in the trailer.
Yeah.
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 Great.
He's pretty good in the truck. What's really interesting is he has an uncanny ability, like when you're driving to a field, he'll be fine. As soon as you get to the field and you're like driving in the field,
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. The dog's like, we're here.
Yeah.
When you switch it from, it's like when you slow down to
You get off-
15 miles an hour.
And you're in a cornfield
yeah,
and
you
bouncing
start
around.
bouncing around. He
I think he
real
just gets
excited.
amped. He's like, holy
He
shit,
does.
here we go.
And I'm just talking shit about the barking, but the shit thing out
Yep.
in the out in the kill hole,
Yep.
man, we could do without that.
Okay. I'll work on that.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's good.
it's a funny thing that when we first started hunting with him, we're like, man, he's shitting right in the hole.
It's-
Here we are 7 years later. I'm
He's
like,
still
it's
doing
kind
it.
of his
Oh.
trademark.
It's better than upwind.
It's like the Wet Bandits and, Home Alone.
Yeah, it's a trademark.
It's a trademark. Yeah, better than upwind for
Yep.
sure.
Yeah.
On the fence line,
Yep.
when you're cross shooting
Mm-hmm.
them. Right on.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add?
I don't think so.
Well, we
I
appreciate you,
appreciate-
buddy.
I appreciate you guys coming out today. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We did a bunch of filming. I'm pumped to see all the video, and
Yeah.
these boys will create some magic on the computers, and it'll be really fun to see.
Yeah.
I think I was telling you, because we have so much footage of Smoke from like 8-week-old puppy till today, and we'll have more progress that we'll film with you, and then Smoke's first hunts. I think it'll be really fun in the on the show we're doing with Meat Eater too, to kind of have like you'll be able to see like a true progression of a gun dog.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Versus, Led's awesome, but when we started filming that show, he was already
Automatic.
finished
Yeah.
dog. Like he's like, yeah, that dog's badass,
Yeah.
but you didn't get to see any training or any
Right.
updates or like kind of have a vested interest in the outcome of that dog.
Sure.
So
Yeah. It'll be good.
I'm very excited for
Me
that.
too.
It'll be a lot of fun.
Me too.
So, and Lolo, if he's ever not being nice, you're welcome to come live with me.
Yeah.
I like her. She's
Yeah.
got a real aggressive demeanor about
She
her.
does. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see why people wouldn't want one of these.
Right.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's a mean dog right there.
Yeah.
Look at her.
Yeah,
So,
that's great.
$15 game,
Yeah, let's try
Oh, boy.
$15 game.
and then we'll wrap it up.
Okay.
All right. So the premise of this game is you have $15 to spend.
Okay.
I'm going to go through 5 different categories.
Okay.
And then each item within those categories has a dollar figure.
Okay.
You get to spend $15
Total,
total.
after all 5 categories.
Okay. So we're going to start with time of year. There's 4 categories. Dane built this, so this is our first time we're trying this out. Okay, you got $15. There's 4 categories. First, location and time of year. You got late season hunting warm water. You got
How much is that?
$5. I'll start with $5 and go down to 1.
Okay.
You got flooded corn. You're a goose guy, so
Yeah.
you got a dry cornfield,
So that's $3.
Yep.
$3. You got a dry barley field,
Mm.
or you got a public marsh for $1. What do you pick?
Probably going. I'm gonna get the warm water slough.
Warm water
Oh,
slough
he's
for $5.
spending some money.
For $5.
Yeah.
Spend money right away. I
Yeah.
like that. Okay.
Well, I'm going to answer too.
Oh, you're going to answer too?
Well, hell yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to spend $2 on the dry barley field.
Okay. Dry barley field.
Because I'm confident in our ability to traffic geese.
Yeah. Your ability.
My ability, yes.
Yep. Okay. So $5, $2. Decoys. You got. So you're both. So he's duck hunting and you're goose hunting,
Right.
which is going to change things up a little bit here. So for the duck hunter, $5 you get motion. So spinner, splasher.
Okay.
Right. $4 you get some sort of hand carved decoy, something real nice that floats real nice. $3 you get some DSDs. Pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely.
$2 you get like a Avery, like those old Avery hot buys,
Okay.
and then $1 like a dive bomb silhouette.
Gotcha. I'm going the Avery hot buy.
Hot buy.
I've killed a lot of birds over a Avery hot buy.
Okay, so
Totally
you spent $2.
Yeah.
Totally agree. $7.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, for you, you're goose hunting
Yep.
in a barley field.
Yep.
For $3, $2. DSDs are going to be number 1 for $5.
Mm-hmm.
I'm making this up as I go.
Okay.
DSDs for $5. You're going to have like a replica decoy for $4, something in that category, right?
Okay.
You're going to have for $3. You're going to have like a DOA.
Yeah. Like
Decoy.
a Dakota DOA type thing.
Like some sort of big production decoy.
Okay.
$2 is going to be a old Bigfoot, and $1 is going to be the dive bomb silhouette.
Can I just have one question? You didn't give me any amounts of decoys, so we'll just assume we get a full spread of any of them.
You just get a spread.
Okay, I'm gonna spend $5 and pick DSDs.
DSDs. Okay.
Because I mentioned before in a dry barley field, I don't know the scout, so I might be trafficking geese.
Yeah. Might be trafficking geese. I totally agree.
Okay.
Okay. So we're learning something about you, that you like duck hunting, but geese are your favorite.
Geese are my favorite. However, I'm at a point in my life that my boys, it's more important for my boys to shoot birds than not. So
Yeah.
if they can get volume for ducks, I'm going ducks.
Heck yeah. I
Yeah.
love that. Okay. So
we're both at $7.
yep, the next is the blind. $5, and this goes for both of you guys. $5 for a pit, $4 for an A-frame, $3 for a layout, $2 for burlap out in the field for you, and $1 to just rough hide wherever you can find it.
I'll take $1. Yeah, I'm on a warm water slough. They're going to be there.
I agree.
So you're at $8. I'm gonna. What was the layout blind? $3.
$3.
I'm gonna get a layout blind,
Okay.
but it's gonna be low profile. So if I get to pick the blind, I want something low profile. It's cut barley field.
It's cut bar. You're gonna need to get down.
Right,
Yeah.
low profile, but I can hide that. Again, I'm trafficking geese, so I feel good about that. So I'm at $10.
$10. And you guys both have $5 to spend. So
And you're at what? Well, no, he went $1.
I went
so
$1.
I mean, you guys there's only one more category. So
okay,
you both get to pick your weather.
Sweet.
You get to pick your weather. So what would you pick if you just had the most ideal weather for your barley field with a layout blind with your DSDs?
I would pick skies just like this,
Overcast.
overcast with like a 12 to 14 mile an hour consistent wind.
Steady wind.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't care about the temp.
Yeah, you don't care about the
It
temp.
could be 15 or 30 or 0 or whatever. It doesn't matter.
What about 60?
I guess cut barley could be early-ish, but generally I feel like I'm hunting in the regular season. I'm in my mind like mid-season, right? So
Clouds and wind.
clouds and wind.
Got it.
I just don't want sun. I don't want sun and no wind, so I want the polar opposite of that. So some clouds. If the sun peeks out here and there at times, whatever, but overcast with a consistent 12 to 14 mile an hour wind.
And you're hunting a warm water slough.
Right.
Right?
I want
With your
12
hot buys.
Right.
Rough hiding.
Right. I want it 20 degrees, snowing, 5 to 10 mile an hour wind.
5-10 mile an hour
Yep.
wind, 20 degrees,
Yep.
snowing.
Yep.
That sounds like a smash coming.
It's a smasher, I
For
can
both
tell
of
you.
us. What I'll tell you is we're both going to need a Chesapeake Bay Retriever.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
what they cost, but
Yeah.
we're in because we're both going to be
Yeah.
killing birds.
Yeah, no doubt. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Haven't thought about where I'm going to hide that sucker, but
Yeah, well,
Oh, that's
in the behind your seat of your layup line.
well, actually, lad, I just have them lay down. I mean, some bitch is dead grass.
yeah. Well,
Ever
you're gonna
seen-
bring.
You ever
I
seen
didn't-
cut barley?
Well, and I didn't ask you what gun you're gonna shoot, so you could just bring the 10 bore with some TSS. Then it doesn't matter.
If they flare, they're still
Right.
dead.
If they fly by,
Close
they're getting
enough.
shot.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Well, we learned
Yeah.
something about you.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun.
We can make something like that happen.
I was
think.
going to say, the thing that you just described
Yeah.
is exactly what we can help
Nice.
Yeah, we can do
produce
that.
at a high
Yeah.
level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bring your kids.
Yeah. The
and
boys
we'll,
will love
we'll-
it.
We'll make that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
We'll even do a rough hunt.
Sweet.
Yeah, we can make that one happen. So
Or we can do the same thing in a heated pit.
Yeah.
no, he picked he picked it.
Well, it'd be a new day.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be a new day, and he's got money left
Right.
to
if
spend.
it-
Yeah, he's
if
got
they have
money
money to lay
Looking
out.
back,
Yeah.
Well,
he's
we
like,
can buy beers with the
Right.
extra money.
Oh, true. Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess so.
The athletic beers, the
Yeah.
NA beers.
Yeah.
we are not drinking
Yeah.
for a year. So
Till January 11th.
yeah. So, all right. Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for having us again. It was
Absolutely.
great
Thanks for
chat.
coming
Yeah,
out.
appreciate
Good
you,
time
Nick.
with you, man.
Yeah.
Stay in touch. Let me know
Yeah.
when you think it's time to come see smoke again, and we'll come see smoke again.
Yeah, absolutely. Get the water unthawed and
We're
get
pretty
off.
flexible, truthfully, this time of year.
Okay.
We'll be turkey hunting here, but I mean, still, we work around.
Yeah.
We can work around.
Yeah, this is a priority. So
Yeah.
you let us know. We'll burn out and come see them and hang out.
I love it.
And we got to go to the taxidermist and take some birds in today. But next time it'd be fun to do something where maybe we'll come out and spend an afternoon and we could all go to dinner or something.
Yeah.
And then maybe we'll just crash in Missoula or something and then head home.
That'd be great.
It'd be
Yeah,
fun to do.
Fun.
Spend a little more time together. Be
Okay.
fun to meet your wife, too.
Yeah, absolutely. She came and left, but yeah,
I believe she's real. I've just
Yeah.
never met her.
just never met her. She's around.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thanks again.
Yeah.
Thanks for following along, guys. And if you like the podcast, leave us a review. I did learn that there is no algorithm for a feed in podcasts. So the only way, if you like the bullshit we spew, the only way you can help us by leaving us a review on Spotify
Mm-hmm.
or Apple when this goes on Apple. So
Yep.
leave us a 5-star review. If it's going to be a 4-star or less, take that thing, wad it up into a little tiny ball, and shove it up your ass or throw it away. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.